Well, hey everybody, welcome to another one of our Bitesized Church, and at the moment what we're exploring is the theme of creation. Now what we've done in part 1 and part 2 is we've looked at how the earth was formed, the different thoughts, some of the different ideas, the creation story from the book of Genesis in the Bible, where God creates the world and everything in it in 6 days, and that alongside the thought about the world being formed by the Big Bang kind of idea of elements coming together and a theory of evolution. Just having those two together side by side and asking us what we think about them. Can we see God in both of them? Is it one or the other? Or can we see kind of a mixture of the two? And what do we believe about how the earth was formed and where all life kind of came from? And it leads us to a particular question, which is an important one, which is, so where did you and I come from? The truth is, the chances of our birth are millions and millions and millions to one. The chances of you and I being here right now, in this moment, are so infinite and extraordinary that our existence is in itself an absolute miracle. So that leads us to the question of, so why us? Where did we come from? And that's a really important question. Now I'm going to read you a bit from the Bible. And this is from the book of Psalms. Now, the Psalms are this book in the Old Testament where it deals with a huge amount of human emotion, but it also deals with a huge amount of thoughts about how people think about things. And they were kind of considered like almost early hymns. And this is Psalm 139. And I'm going to invite you to read this for yourself at the end. But this is just a part of it. So this is Psalm 139. Now listen to this. This is a person talking to God, reaching out to God. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Isn't that an extraordinary passage? Basically, what that passage is saying is, before we were born, before we were even thought of, God knew us. Before any of our days had begun, God knew who we were. He saw our unformed being before we actually became into existence. This idea that God knew you and I before we were born, before we were conceived. That's quite an amazing thought. And how does that make you feel? It's a really important question to ask, the idea of where we come from. Did God know us beforehand, or was it as a complete surprise to God that we suddenly came into existence? Were our lives already ordained? Did God kind of already say, I know the path that you're going to take. I know what your days will be. Did God know us? Or does he just react to chance? Is our existence purely accidental, purely some kind of miracle? Or are we part of God's overall plan? Is our existence more than mere chance? Are we ordained by God? Now, that leads to questions of how we live our lives and the choice of free will, and we'll get onto that in other sessions in Bite-Sized Church. The idea that how much is God in control of our lives and how much are we in control of our lives? It's a really interesting question. We're going to get into that one. But for now, thinking about creation, not only is the question about where does the earth come from, the question is, so where do you and I come from? And we need to understand and really explore this for ourselves. So what we see in the Bible is a clear thought that God knew who you and I were. He saw us, he knew us, he saw our unformed body, he knit us together in our mother's womb. He knew us before we physically came into an existence. That's kind of quite a big concept to think about, and I need you to really explore that. So before we came into physical existence, God knew who you and I were. He saw our unformed body as it was being brought together. He knit us together in our mother's womb, and we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Important word, that, made. We were made. God made us. It's not just chance. It's not just kind of some kind of cosmic fluke that we happen to be on this earth. God saw us before we physically came into being, knew us, made us. And as we are now in existence, it's not a chance. It's because God made us. What do you think about that? Do you believe that? How does it make you feel? What I want you to do is I want you to read for yourself Psalm 139. And if you look at kind of verses 1 through to 18, that probably gets you into it enough. So Psalm 139, verses 1 to 18, have a read of it. How does it make you feel about creation? But how does it make you feel about your creation, where you came from? We're going to have one more Bite-Sized Church on creation, which will be here on Wednesday. And then we'll move on to another topic. But yeah, if there's any help you ever need, anything you want to explore, anything you want to look at, please do let me know. But read that psalm. Where did you come from? Do you believe that you were fearfully and wonderfully made? There's some questions, as always, just following on after I end my little section. Have a look at them, and I'll see you again very soon for Bite-Sized Church Creation Part 4. Okay, look at the questions, and I'll see you in a bit.